So good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us for this second webinar. Today, I'm very pleased to have with us Mr. Chetwin Stuart. I'm sure everybody knows Chetwin. He's been a very successful promoter for many years. Some time ago, I had asked him if he would do a session for Coscap. Initially, it was face-to-face, but we go with the times. Because I thought it would be useful to have him share his experience and help people to learn or understand about the business of promoting. Of course, here at Coscap, we work with many promoters, and there is a high level of interest in the business, but sometimes I've found that, especially emerging promoters have faced a number of challenges, and in talking to them, I get the impression that there's still a lot about the business that they don't fully understand. So Chetwin was kind enough to agree, and today is supposed to be a very relaxed session, very free-flowing. You can ask as many questions as you want. And the first I'm going to start with, Chetwin has asked that we have an introduction by the participants. So I'm going to go through you quickly one by one, allow you to just quickly introduce yourself and to give him a background, I guess, about the participants. So I'm going alphabetically, and I'm going to start with Ahmed. So Ahmed, if you can introduce yourself, please.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I work at the National Library Service in Go Ahead Branch Library.
Sorry?
I work at the National Library Service in Go Ahead Branch Library.
Okay, so
Okay.
you work at the library service. Thank you. Antoinette? Are you going to talk, Antoinette? All right, well, just in case she's not speaking, we have Antoinette Connell, who's actually with the Nation newspaper. Delano?
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Delano Thompson, and I'm a student of the Barbados Community College.
Okay, thank you. Harriette Rowe?
Hi, I'm Harriette Rowe, and I work at the South Wings Beach Resort.
Nice having you with us, Harriette.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Next, we have Keisha Thompson. Okay. I'm assuming Keisha would rather not introduce herself. Okay, so we move on. Norman Barrow. Norman.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Right, I said hello.
Hello. Okay. Well, I think most people know Norman, who's also in the business of events. And then we have Paul Husband.
Hey, good afternoon. I'm Paul. I'm the founder of Selected Charts.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks for joining us.
Sure thing.
All right, and then we have Samantha Haynes.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Samantha.
Yes, I just have an interest in event management and so on. So I just wanted to come and see what the session was all about.
Okay, thank you for joining us. Then we have some Coscap staff. I don't know, well, I'm going to introduce a couple of them who work in licensing. So, Anita? Okay. Anyway, I'm going to wrap up there. We have Hanitha Vaughn, who's a licensing agent from Coscap, and we have a couple more Coscap staff members. They will intervene, I suppose, if there are questions asked of them. We have Melissa Roberts, who just joined. Melissa, we are just asking participants to quickly introduce themselves. So since you're the last joining right now, I'll ask that you introduce yourself and then we'll move on to properly start the session. So Melissa.
Unmute. Hello?
Hi.
I just checking to make sure you can hear me.
Okay, this is Samantha.
No, this is Melissa.
Oh, okay. Hi, Melissa.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Melissa Roberts. I am a singer-songwriter. I'm also into film as a either producer or production manager, and I'm attached to Cross Color Records studio.
Okay, so you're in Guyana.
Pardon?
You're in Guyana?
Yes, I am in Guyana.
Okay, well, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Okay, Keisha Thompson, she's messaged. She's from Loop News. She has some technical issues, so you're welcome to the session, Keisha. So Chetwin, those are the attendees at this time. I assume more will join, but I guess we can start, and I'm going to turn it over to you to start telling us about, I guess you can start with how you got into business and just, you know, the key learnings you've had over the years. But I'm leaving it up to you, so.
Okay, first, good afternoon, everyone. For those of you who would not know who I am, I'm Chetwin Stuart, promoter for over 40 years. Also band leader for over 25 years. And also, I would say, event facility owner for many years, different locations. First, let me start by saying it is not easy to be a promoter, especially in these times. But what I would like you all to take away from this session is that the most important thing I've found over my 40 years in being a promoter, because people always ask me wherever I go all over the world, I do a lot of traveling. People ask me what I do for a living, and I tell them solve problems. Because as a promoter, that is one of the most important things you have to be able to do. You have to deal with the issues that come up on the event or just before the event, because it's not just a matter of planning and being well organized. But I find over the years it's more important to be able to deal with all the issues that will come up during the events. And that, I would say, is what separates, you know, the really good promoters from the ones that don't succeed. The basic thing in promoting, I would say also, is you're planning the event, but there are main things that you have to look at. And I found in Barbados, one of the things a lot of promoters don't do is do a proper budget. I mean, you always have to decide whether or not it makes sense to do the event. A lot of people tend to just rush into it because, oh, they have this artist or they have, you know, somebody that they assume will pull people. But then they don't look at all the other things, like the rental of the venue, the taxes they have to pay, you know, the sound system, the lighting. So that is one thing that I found that you need to be very good at, putting together a proper budget, because that will help you decide if you're going to do the event or not. And when it comes to events, you know, you also have to be creative. I mean, someone could bring an idea to you and you can go with it, but it's still good if you're creative and you can separate kind of yourself from the rest. Because again, people, it's not like in the past where you only have a few options of artists or DJs or whatever. Because when they started out, the most important thing back in the day for us doing events was to have a good DJ. You know, I remember one year paying Peter Coppin, and it's years ago, $10,000 to perform at the Hilton. All they needed then was the DJ, because the DJ was pulling everyone. So it was a matter of he was worth it. As promoters, that is what we do. We pay, and this we have to explain to artists too. We pay people for what they bring to the table. And in most cases, we will want them to bring people, because people then, you know, mean money at the door. So a lot of times, you know, people will say, well, oh, you know, you want to pay me this, or you don't want to pay me that. But it's the value that you bring at the particular time. Because for the event to come off, you know, the promoter normally needs people to come and pay at the door. In our business, there are a lot of ways of getting people to come and pay at the door, but the most important thing is to have a product that people can appreciate. Over the years, my mission statement was top quality entertainment in a safe and friendly environment. So that worked for me. There are a lot of promoters who, you know, will pinpoint different areas, but that has worked for me over the years. So I always try to make sure that I produce a top quality entertainment in a safe and friendly environment. There are many ways of going about that, but again, most things will still come back to budgets and making money, or at least not losing too much money, because that is the only way that we can survive. Promoting is not a sure thing. It's kind of like a gamble, because at the end of the day, as promoters, we take a very big risk, and a lot of things can impact on whether or not the event comes off. That isn't under our control. I mean, the most common one is the weather. You know, I've done, over my 40 years, I've done many events that get rain out, that get stopped. If you know, if the rain didn't fall, you're gonna lose money. So things like that, you have to take into consideration. You know, I always tell people, you shouldn't gamble if you can't afford to gamble, because there's no sure thing in promoting. So therefore, going into events, you should always have a safety net. I mean, in the past, our safety net was always sponsors. You know, I wouldn't do an event unless I had a certain amount of sponsorship to cover certain things. The days of sponsorship is gone. You know, the sponsors are coming out with that kind of money now. So basically, what we have to fall back to nowadays is to be able to put forward, you know, a very tight project. And I don't want to say hope for the best, but then look at all the factors that could impact on that and make sure you're not taking too many chances.
I want to ask you something though before you go on. You mentioned how in the past it was all about the DJ, but I want you to know, what about now? What's the attraction now? If it isn't the DJ, what were you relying on?
Well, it depends on, first of all, what type of event you do. I do a lot of theme events. So from the beginning, I've always focused, you know, the blackout, the all jeans, the Fear the Glow event, outrageous and right, because I personally prefer that the whole event is the attraction, not just the artist. Because you can find a number of times, if the artist at that point in time is not really attracting people, or you depend on the artist and then the artist don't show up, people want the money back, blah, blah, blah. So, but I prefer to more do a theme event, because that's what I'm good at, creating atmosphere, creating themes, and something that people, they come up for more than just the music. The music is part of it. But nowadays, the most important thing, I think, the promoters listen to me now, is that people attract people. That is something I find a lot of promoters don't really understand. People attract people. So if you have an event, I've had, in my venues, I've had some young promoters come. I remember this guy, he came and he had these two artists coming in from Jamaica who were very popular. And I sat down with him eventually. I said, boss, here can hold 3,000 people. When I'm doing an event with 2,000 people, I at least do 250 passes. I told him the reason why you do that is that people turn up, but no one likes to be first to pay to go in. So when I do those passes, I'm sure that people come in and walking in early, especially if I have a venue that you can somehow see them on the cars outside, or if you can see it in the venue. He didn't listen to me. He said, man, no, this is a short thing. These people pull a lot of people. So he went for it. He didn't do any passes. On the night of the event, if he had a quarter of the people who passed to look at the event, right, he would have been successful. But no one wanted to go in first. So that was a basic mistake. I mean, he put his mother at the door. He was there ready to collect the money. People came to stand up outside waiting. People start calling people, man, let me get in the gap and come back and see when this thing really starts. So there are a lot of different little things that you have to look at and know. You just can't assume that because you have this act or you have this person that you're going to get people. And then again, if you're in it for the long run, it's always executed. So at the end of the day, you might put off a first event, but if you don't execute well, if things don't flow well, and that's where you say you have to be able to solve problems. All right, let me give you an example. You know, I remember one thing, there was an event that I did, and I was down there all day, made sure this was like party style. Everything was good. I went home, babes came back. When I came back, security in place, bars ready, this, that, and next. I always drink a half orange, a half pineapple before I start my event. So I went to the bar and I tell the guy, you know, just give me half juice. He said, all right, no problem, boss. And then he turned around and he looked and said, wait, but they're not ice, you know, they're not ice. So what I can do now, I can quarrel at my head barman about not having ice there or this word. No, right now, this is what he did. I called somebody, you know, got who deals with ice. You know, they told me, all right, Chairman, I can get it for you, but I can't get it for you within 2 hours. So then I put on the phone, I hop in my Jeep, and I went by a gas station. Yes, I had to pay $15 instead of 10, but you think anybody who comes to my event want to hear that one of my staff forget to order the ice? You know, and as simple as ice is, right? You cannot have a party without ice, without cold drinks. So, you know, you have to be able to move like that and know that these things are going to happen and solve them, because at the end of the day, that is what is going to make and break you. There are a lot of promoters who came out, which I don't blame them, but they are what we call real promoters. They have to have like 6 different people helping them or somebody pulling off the event for them. So, you know, at the end of the day, they more than likely don't succeed, because eventually when somebody realizes this man is doing everything for the man, what the man can do. He either rob him or he can go on and do his own events. So that's why he says it's so important to be able to be flexible and solve issues and stuff, because they are going to come. And if you want to be in it for the long run, there are many things that, you know, we won't have time to go through today, but there are many things that in terms of building relationships and being honest so that people trust you, because people want to work with people who are honest, but more so people want to work with people where they are going to make money and you're going to make money. So I always tell young promoters, do not go into relationships whereby you can either make more money than the partner, or the partner can either make more money than you. So when people come to one of my venues, I always sit down and tell them, look, this is how you can make my money, this is how you can make your money. You make your money from the door, right? And you take in the whole door, and I take in the bar, and maybe take in the food, or even if I get a percentage door, that's how it's going to work. So therefore, it's going to be kind of a fair setup, because a lot of times in promoting events and stuff, things don't always go the way you expect them to go. So then you have to be able to work with people. And even so with the artists, you know, the relationship for us with nearly all the artists in Barbados is a very good relationship. If for some reason the event doesn't come off, there's never been any artist that said, well, look, Chetwin, you know, I want everything, you know, work with us, because it's a continuing thing that is going on. But again, people attract people. The reason why I said that earlier, I remember a year, I had a restaurant at Bay Shore, and I was also doing fest, Barrow for fest. And we always did Saturdays. We had a very good relationship with Beige. Beige and Popeye 4 were always competitors with band, but in terms of the fest, Beige would do Fridays and we would do Saturdays. And then the Boyard, I was right next to the Boyard, so the Boyard was also doing Saturdays, which we didn't mind because we had our own market. But I remember the Saturdays started out very well and we were full all the time. And the Boyard did not feel good about that. So the boatyard dropped their price from $15 or $20 to free, right? But people still came to us because they saw people, the friends that want to be waiting there. So when they closed the gate, you know, people be pushing money, trying to get my check, we take this so and so money, I want the money. I said, no, the boatyard is free. Because when we close off, and people will want to be there because people are there. So as a promoter, if you're planning any kind of event, first thing you have to look at is to getting people there, because many people have pulled off what would have been spectacular events if they had people. All years night, I remember there was an event at East Coast. If it had people, it would be done excellent. But again, they just assumed that they would get people. They didn't check the market. They didn't know who they were marketing it to, what else was going on. You know, it's just like right now, Kudu Monday is free. So everybody assumes, man, let me do an event on Kudu Monday. But it's not necessarily so. So you have to look at all those factors when you're doing events.
I have a lot of questions, sorry. One, I want to understand this thing about the rain. And one of the questions I always have is, don't promoters get insurance? Because I know of promoters who have been absolutely licked up. When it rained, the event couldn't come off, and it stopped them from being able to have events for a long time because it just totally knocked them flat. And I was like, but don't you have insurance? So I wanted to know about the reticence. It seems, is it that it's not affordable? The market for that kind of insurance, is it developed? Well, why not insure these events given where we're located and given that a lot take place outdoors? One. Two, a lot of what you're really saying is you have to develop your brand, right? In terms of when you say, for example, people attract people. So it's getting a better understanding about the types of brands that are being established, because I have some concerns about the movement, for example, towards these super VIP, super expensive events that have developed. I'm not sure if that has helped the event market for Barbados, because to me that's a model that was brought out of Trinidad, and I don't know if it's the best fit for our market and if it's had a positive effect. I wanted to get your insight in terms of the brand development and the push towards those types of exclusive events. And
okay.
That's other questions later.
Okay. Well, let me deal with the insurance one first. Now, obviously, you're not a promoter. So therefore, let me enlighten you. It would make no sense for insurance company to try to insure us for if the rainfall. Because at the end of the day, I mean, normally, all right, let me give you an example. When we do a series of events, say around crop over time, if the rainfall, $10,000 lost on that night for sure. We know exactly how much you can lose because we know the down payments we've paid. We know the things you cannot get back for. So for me to approach an insurance company and say, well, I want to insure this event, the kind of questions that will be asked, because all events are different, right? And then what you will have to pay will still not make any sense. So as I open by saying, we are promoters, we take risks. If promoting was a straightforward thing, well, people come and be a promoter. Why I could go and make a promoter and make all this money? But it's not like that. So there are certain risks involved, and whether it's one, you're not going to get away from it. You're not going to be able to insure for it. You have to plan and work with it. If it's a one-off event, well, then you're in trouble. Because if it's a one-off event, people want back the money they're paying. The money that you took early for the early bird tickets normally go towards paying deposits. Nobody ain't giving back a deposit. They will say, well, I might do it for you another day, which they really don't even have to say, because if they're artists that are traveling and stuff, yeah, dates might be booked. So we take those kind of risks. So that comes with the territory. The other thing is what you just said again about the events and events coming out of Trinidad. That is not really true, you know. A lot of times people don't understand why certain events happen, especially, you know, with the phones and social media and stuff. Now, Trinidad, or that doesn't give a background. When I started out Paul before, like the third year in, I realized, because I came on across them, bro, and everything was sketches. You used to pick your costume from a sketch. And there was this big artist in Trinidad, Roger Myers, that used to draw for everybody. So my first couple of years, he drew my designs. You come and you look at the designs in my house, and you pick out the costume. That's how it was, you know? And people pick for different reasons, but it was drawings. I decided, well, you know, when you see these drawings, the costume never look like drawings. Because obviously, if I give 10 different designers the sketches, I can get 10 different costumes, because it depends on the material and stuff they used to bring to life. So I decided I can start with a magazine. I can have models and stuff. I started that before Trinidad. But then I went into Trinidad and they took it to a different level. I also decided that I can have food on the road. You know, you can pick and pick. When I decided that, my compatriots in Trinidad called me a curse, man, you giving people food. You know, Trinidadians don't hear you want food. And what did they do? They take it and take it to a different level. So it's not that we necessarily go there with the Trinidadian ideas, because the same thing you're talking about now, the all-inclusive events. The reason why the all-inclusive events came about is because they could work. Because somebody thought of it and said, well, look, you know, if I could get somebody to give me 250, you know, US dollars or 200 US dollars and do an event, and they could put in all the drinks, bring the sponsors, have the food, and they could walk away with 200 or 100 US, it made sense. So the model that a lot of people are following here in terms of the all-inclusive events is because they realize that, yes, there's certain people who will be willing to pay. And why they realize that? Because we migrate. This year is my 23rd carnival. I'm a carnival person. I most of the time I don't work in Trinidad. People offer me to come and join with them, but I just love carnival. So when I go down to carnival, I go to most events free. I got brother down there, got friends down there, they don't pay. But yeah, I spend about 3,000 US dollars whenever I go to carnival, going to events, you know, and party and that kind of stuff. So there is a market for it. What's happened though, because there's a market for it, then there are people who we like to say, really it's not the market, but they can make sure they go. And mass, around crop over mass is really women. Don't let anybody fool you. It's all about women. Men follow. But the unfortunate thing for women, unlike men, is that I could wear the same jeans to 3 fats in a row. Okay? With social media now, it's not just the ticket for a woman. The ticket might be $200, but she can't wear the same outfit. She can't wear the same shoes. She's spending, no, seriously, she's spending another 400 or more. I put the number down low, right? To go to the event. So therefore, because of these events now, people have to budget and they can't afford a lot of other things. So that is why we've had this great fall off with numbers going on the road. Right, when Paul before was strong, we were 1,500, Beige was 12. They had over 12,000 people going on the road. Last year, they had 4,000 people going on the road, with over half of them being from overseas. And that is a national festival. The year before, they had 3,800. Counting at the stadium. I mean, you get some of them, but the numbers are ridiculous. So the year before that, I didn't realize that bitches weren't jumping. So my daughter put her in charge of the band, and we did not get near the amount of numbers that we wanted. You know, I lose $195,000 in like 2 weeks. But what I'm saying is that it's not about people going and copying brands or whatever. It's about what is working. And promoting is like music. It's very dynamic. A lot of people say it's very dynamic. And you have to move with the times, because what is in today is not into more. And more so now, because again of social media. People are foolish. People looking at seeing certain things, they want that. So you can't go there making the costume is toppers and cardinal. When they first brought out the swimsuit editions and everything based on a swimsuit, it was because the swimsuit was like a foundation. That it will fall off. But yeah, you know, we were accused of copying Trinidad and this and that, but it worked for us. And our designer was a Trinidadian for 25 years. So it's same thing with promoting. If a promoter sees someone doing the event and is successful, you know he can try a thing. But that's what separates us. He can see it, but can he execute? Because a promoter, the most important thing is executing and make sure it comes off. So, you know, as I said again, on the night, somebody tell you, well, look, the amplifier or whatever ain't working. I was in a club the other day, strip club that launched here in Barbados, you know, the new strip club, and it was burst. And he did not have, well, our friend here could tell you, but he did not have something between the amps and the speakers that could protect the speakers. So the DJ couldn't hear the music, although the music was low, because we, you know, and he jacked it up and blew all the speakers, except the little speaker in there with him. And this place just launched. And everybody calling people, and he even asked me, he managed to get somebody there to take the speakers, but it took 2 hours. So some people already left. So these are the things that we talk about. Don't care how good you think you have everything planned and solved. You have to be able to act on it. And it's not about what people are doing overseas and bringing here, because with social media nowadays, you can look and see what's going on all around, and you could try something, but it's how well you execute it. Because in the past, people would tell me, "Oh, this person is using your name. You know, you're black, or you don't have that registered, but you're letting the copy." But you always say, "I don't mind," you know, because if there's a form of flattery, if you're trying to do it, but can you do it as good as me? And that is how it will always go. Because somebody can see one of my events, they don't have to name it the same thing, but they can do something identical to it. But if they do it better than me, well, then yes, they will pull people. So you don't worry about those. You don't worry about people doing Trinidadian events or Trinidadian coming and joining forces with us. The only problem I have with that is that I can't go and join forces in Trinidad. It's very difficult because they are you know, and that's the other thing. They are very, I don't want to say mercenary, but I have friends in Trinidad who do events, a lot of events, and I've watched them sometimes. Just because the venue that is close to them, to her, that they will rent the venue for thousands of dollars and don't use it tonight because they don't want anybody to get it. Or the tickets would be, they will have like 8,000 tickets sold and maybe another 4,000, and they will say that they sold out, and then they will send scalpers outside to sell them at twice the price. Here in Barbados, that ain't gonna happen, you know, because Barbados is still very funny. If the price is $35, I ain't paying $70, although you can't deny. But Trinidad is a different thing. Or here in Barbados, we cannot just up the price because, you know, we go through fire and stuff. So if you take a market certain thing, we have to sell it. Trinidad, no. So there are a lot of things to look at, but I would not be concerned about people or what you call Trinidad events coming, because anything that can work and a promoter think he can make money from it, you know, he's going to try it. I had an event by me with Vibes Cartel. I told the promoter, my place could only hold 4,000 people. Do not bring any more. Tell me, yeah. Now in the event, 6,000 plus turn up. You look at me, say, Chetwin boy, if I can make $1 million tonight, I gotta make $1 million. I'm sorry, but I can turn with this money. But what that then did is that I could not say I ain't letting it together 2,000. They will push down the game, mash at the place, whatever, because the crowd was not a chill crowd. So eventually I had to let in all 6,000 something. The tank that most of them was under, people started to get wet. They want to know how it rained on their tank. What it was the heat from their body going up, condensing the sweat and coming back down on them. So I just try to show you how rough it is sometimes. But all of them had a good time. And they went away saying, yeah. Me, no, I'd have a good time because they nearly killed me to pull it off. But
and you paid Coscap for the 6,000 people.
Of course not. And did he pay me anything extra? Of course not. You know, but that is how it is. So that's to explain their promoters and then their promoters, you know. So you're going to meet all different types, but if you are in it for the long run, you know, you have to do it properly, and you have to realize that everything is not going to be a hit. And I always tell young promoters, look, if I do 10 events, right, I'm happy if I could get 7 pull off. I know I can have 3 failures. But if I have 5 or 4, that means I definitely can lose money. So those are the things you really have to look at, and you always have to have a good team. That's the other thing I forgot. You know, you can't do everything yourself. So if you're going into promoting, whereby you're going to go and rent a venue and everything at the venue, and you can just control the door and deal with the advertising, well, okay. But if you're a promoter who's going to know, put together a team of barmen, put together a security team, put together different people, you know, your team will make or break you. So that is something you really have, and it is nothing that can happen the first time out. I always tell promoters, yeah, if you make money first time out, yeah, you're lucky. But again, you have to know that getting into this business, it can take a while for you to learn all these things. And everyone that does something, you know, they know what I'm talking about, because people will come to you and because they watch you, they think, you know, that is easy. It's only when they get their experience coming in, you know, that they will understand, well, there's so many other different little things that you have to deal with. And as a promoter, there's so many other little things that I wouldn't even have time. It's always better to have somebody at your side at an event so they can actually see how it runs, so they can see from the beginning, you know, when it starts, if the chemical toilets ain't turn up on time, if this body ain't turn up, if fire at the door at this time and they come early and they want to count your tickets and count your money, you know, if Coscap in you're gonna play the Coscap and they send somebody there over the tell they can shut you down. There are a lot of different things. No, there are a lot of different things that you have to deal with, and you have to be good at dealing with them. You can't be hot-headed, you know, and oh, you know, my Erica, I don't care about she. You know, you got to be able to deal with these. Also, the event can go forward. Even with the police, you have to know how to deal. There's certain police that will come and you have everything. But just because it's a little power play or whatever, you know, they might try, you know, police come to my door all the time and they show the little badge. And, you know, if I know them, I might let them in, but somebody would tell, well, boss, yeah, what you here for? You just can't walk in my face because you're a policeman. You know, a lot of them would try that, especially young ones. Man, there's something matter. I said, man, nothing. You know, you want me to call, make a call, or I might let you in. So the different things that you have to know how to deal with it. And it all stems from what kind of events you want to do. I had an event called Summer Jam Sanders. It was a very nice event. It attracted a lot of young people, but it also attracted a lot of gangsters. So one night, Red Sea was there and Dog Pound was there. And they had a beef. So I had to separate Red Sea and I had to separate Dog Pound. You know, and you know, things happen as a promoter. Things happen. There are times where you have to hold in the fella's stomach, you know, and get him in a ambulance because in the car, because he made his girlfriend draw sleep, went out, came down by me, come inside, and went by one of my doors dancing with the girl. The girl easy got up. She came down. She paid to come in, and she started inside. Now I didn't want, you know, I get want my face stop. I had to make sure I get him out there, I had to make sure I get him to the hospital. Those are the kind of things, you know, that you have to deal with at a different level. It depends on what kind of event you want to do. But there are many things. In my band, we were going down Black Rock. A fellow pulled a gun on a man to shoot him. The gun misfired. Man pulled a gun and he ran in my band and the man shoot him in his behind. And he dropped down in the middle of my band, gun dropped. Security picked up the gun, drag him outside. The band went along. Now, if I panic now and wait for everything to come, you know, police come, it will stop the band. So they're just things that you have to think very quick about as a promoter, but you need to expect these things to happen. You need to expect the rain to fall. You need to expect there might be a fight in the event. If it's a big event over 1,000 people, you should at least have 4 security that just room to stop fights as soon as they start. I don't assume it can be men, because most of the fights at my events are women. But you know, if you have a fight, the DJ will start the music, blah, blah. So all those different little things, you know, you have to look at. You have to look at venues. I was in New York last year, and there was this, year before, there was this Beijing event, and I decided, I go into this Beijing event, and I went to this venue. The roof was low, it was hot, it had all the Beijing artists, but they can't breathe properly, you know. So things like that you have to look at too, especially with venues. Venues are always very important, where they're located. You know, if people can see in them, because that's a no. If I have a venue, somebody can see it, I can always block it out. Because when they're seeing it, as I said earlier, they will never come in early. And it's not good for people to be able to see in the venue. So things like that, you have to learn about venues, equipment, sound equipment. You know, yes, proper sound equipment is going to cost you, but it makes sense to pay that. If a song, if I know the average price is $2,500 for the kind of system they want for a certain venue, so people could hear the music. And somebody come and tell me, man, short, I could give a song system with $600. No, I get obviously question that he was gonna bring that and set that and let me hear it. No, I can say, well, I saving $1,900 and I go to, that happens a lot of times with promoters. I mean, I'm sure y'all been at shows where, you know, the music is stopped for a while and this and that and amplifier gone or whatever. So, but if you have somebody, you know, who has the equipment, also who has backup equipment, you know, at the end of the day, you might pay a little bit more, but that would guarantee that, you know, that you have a proper event.
But Chetwin, let's look at the current situation, going back to a point you made, and the affordability of events, right? And given where we are today, how do we, what do you see the market looking like in terms of affordability and getting people back out, if we are able to get past, you know, the pandemic situation? How do you deal with the fact that, you know, it's economically hard times for a lot of people? How do you see events changing, the nature of events changing? I want you to talk about that. I want you to talk about one of the challenges I always hear promoters speaking about, which is the amount they're willing to pay the artists and how much the artists think they're worth. And then my last question would concern things like getting financing. So things like paying VAT, having to pay VAT, having to pay Coscap, having to pay all the various input costs that are going to happen in the event. So first, how do we ensure events are affordable and people are able to come out and enjoy themselves? How do you deal with the perceived value of artists and how you pay artists? And finally, the financing, the costs involved and dealing with those costs.
Okay, well, first, no one can tell me what is really going to happen in terms of what's happening right now. So it's going, as far as I'm concerned, it's going to be a whole new world. The advantage I think promoters have right now, though, is that everyone has been brought down to the same level. So everybody now has to be creative and start over. The reason why I say that is this. There's no, you can look it up. There's no new rule. There are three things that do well in hard times like these: sex, drugs, and entertainment. It's proven all over the world, right? So people are going to want to come out. People are going to want to release stress, because that is the whole idea. When you have stress, you want to get away, drink, party, forget about the stress. So, and since all the promoters are put on the same platform right now, you have to be, as I said earlier, you have to be creative. The issues right now is that right now, or last week would have been a better time to risk putting money in events, because we were fairly sure that the virus was all around Barbados. But we have now opened back up. So therefore, it's definitely going to come. So it's kind of risky now. Most promoters, any promoter who's been promoting for lawyers, and you really risk anything of a large nature right now. Like with me, myself, I wasn't working for 4 months, so I decided I can turn a little place into a restaurant and bar, and I'm looking to start up now. But right now, there have been a number of events that you wouldn't even know about because they don't want to call you and tell you to pay the 8% after it started. So promoters have started, but on very small scales, because you can't afford to risk anything large, and you shouldn't be doing anything large because you still have to follow the protocols. So, you know, so like my little event I started last week, you know, I measure temperature coming in, you take the names at the door, you make sure you have the sanitizer. But the people want to come out. People came out. I was surprised the amount of people who came out. So it is risky because you really don't know what is going to happen. So therefore, as a promoter, you shouldn't take too much risk at these things. But I do think that if a vaccine is found, because to me, the vaccine got to be found or something serious, so because it's not matter just sitting on waiting, because, you know, it will come and it will go. And at the end of the day, Barbados is all like overseas. It has all these hospital beds and stuff. So if you get too many people infected, what can happen? We can shut down again, or the protocols can go back. You go from 500 to 250, then over 10 or whatever. So as a promoter, these are the things that we look at every day and we follow every day. And looking at the states does not encourage you at all. So therefore, you know, the way we operate right now is, you know, see if we can stay above the ground. Now, one of the things that a lot of people don't understand is that it's not that promoters want to do a lot of cruises. The reason why there's so many cruises and so little events is that when you do a cruise, you don't pay for our Coscap. The board deals with that. So if the board charges you $45, you can charge $70 and you make money easily. So, but if you're doing an event and say I raise $100,000 at my door, right? And I tell you, well, come and do it with me. I guarantee you $100,000. You would jump and say, well, Chad, yeah, you doing an event with you because the profit margin is 30%. I can hold 15,000. You can hold $15, so you can buy and come with me. But what you doing though is before we pay a venue, before we pay security, before we pay entertainment, before we pay tollies, $25,500 of your profit gone. That is the reason why promoters aren't doing events anymore. That is the reason why there are only about 4 of us left that are full time. Because after I paid that $25,500, I left with $4,500 if the event came off. If the event failed or the rainfall or I get much as I want, I losing thousands of dollars. So the government will tell you, well, you really don't pay a VAT, you collect it for us. So what the VAT receipts that you have, but the reality is, Army security men are kind of drained. Them can't give me that VAT invoice. You understand? A lot of things that I buy or I get discounts from now, people can tell me straight, but I mean, if I put on the VAT, you know, you got to charge for this. So we are in a bind. You understand? The percent for Coscap, well, I do it, but most promoters don't know to do it. They need to come in and talk to you and say, well, look, I don't have a problem paying, but I don't want somebody to tell me the venue can hold $2,000 and I got people and I got to pay that front and I don't have that money then to put into the event. You know, I'm willing for you to come and take the numbers, and if it's only 200 people, I only pay on the 200 people. So a lot of those things deter promoters because most of the time we need the money right now, you know, to deal with the event, and then we can deal with it after. But again, it's a hard thing for like Coscap because you know that if you let somebody go on and do the event without paying money, more than likely they won't pay the money. So all those things.
That goes back to a point you made early on. 2 points. One about relationship building, and the second about honesty. Because the thing is, you and I have been working together for a long time, and we don't necessarily always agree, but we can always reach an agreement.
Right.
And it's about communication and building the relationship and so on. But I'm really concerned that a lot of times, you know, we just deal with straight up dishonesty. And that's where a lot of the conflict and issues, I think, come into play. So we are well aware that people need money for cash flow and so on. But if you come and we give you an ease 1 year and you do foolishness, you can't expect him to come back the next year.
Right, that's what he said. But at the end of the day, too, I blame the government. I've pushed this for many years. I had to get up last week in front of John King and say this too, right? Promoters are not respected in Barbados. That's the problem. It goes all the way back to what my father told me when I was young. He told me I want thing to be a calypsonian, or I think it was like somebody below everybody else, right? Mm-hmm. Right now, we have a situation, and you know, all around that. It's realized that promoting and events probably generates $110 million in the economy when the year comes. It's more than that. And it only costs the NCF $6 million to put it on. But all the governments in the past has only given the NCF $1.5 million. And I expect them to go there and respond to itself. So I always say it didn't get happen, it didn't get work. So the NCF can't do a good job. I don't care what anybody tell me. But the government, you need to realize, we as promoters bring people in the island. It's no joke. The hotels don't pay 70.5% VAT. Why are they still forcing promoters who bring people in the island to pay 70.5%? It's not we don't want to pay anything, but the reality is at this time now, look, with the price what they're doing. They put together a team, they're calling out the promoters. We need y'all to do some events. Be willing to help. Like all of a sudden, no. But ever since you say that, if we don't have to pay, if we pay the same as the hoteliers, Nobody got a problem paying the 8% to you. And nobody got a problem doing that.
But Chetwin, you don't think that it's not just promoters, but the music industry, that's it, the entertainment industry as a whole, don't you think there's a general lack of respect for it?
Yes, of course. But I am saying at the end of the day, the promoters are still the ones who are calling promoter. I said a lot of people that are promoters don't even know they're promoters. But the promoter is still the one that gotta go and hire the live band, or hire the artist, or hire whatever, because they're the ones who take most of the risk. I'm not disrespecting the artist or anything, but at the end of the day, if I come to you and you tell me, okay, my fee is $5,000 for the night, you want your $5,000. Yes, you might work with me for less, but you want your $5,000. You are taking all the other risks that I taking with the event not coming off at this time, or you're incurring all the other expense. Because at the end of the day, your $5,000 might not even compare to my stage. My stage might be $8,000. My sound system might be $4,500. But I have to appreciate that. So therefore, when I talk about the government not fully understanding it, at this time, there's not, nobody's asking to do a favor. We're just asking to survive. We give us the same rate as the hotels. The hoteliers went and they said to survive, we need to get a discount. In fact, and they got it. So that those are just, I don't want to be sidetracked, but those are things that have been for years not understanding. It makes sense for us to survive, because if we don't survive, we ain't bringing any money.
I support what you're saying, but Chetwin, one, the promoters, like, okay, the artists have it in a sense of Coscap, and there's a new entity, but in terms of coming together, one. It's the same thing I tell the artists. If you want a voice, you can't expect that you aren't able to speak to your contribution. So don't expect handouts if you're not paying NIS, for example, right? If you're not accounting for and able to show, well, this is the amount revenue I generate, this is the amount I contribute to the taxes in Barbados, and so on and so forth. The reality is, unless you're able to put these numbers on a table, I don't think people will take you seriously. So with the promoters, I know there's some little association that was started, but in terms of properly advocating, and being able to say, look, for the year 2019, this is how much events generated in Barbados. This is how much we contributed in terms of that. And I think that type of information is missing from the public discussion.
Right, but again, who is to get that information or educate people about it? Like what you're doing today, no. The reason why I came is because I thought this was important. But the meeting that was held last week, I think it was, where was Coscap invited? We
have not been included in the general conversation.
But, so again, why y'all there? I got there all late, and when I got there, they were still introducing people from the NCF or what this body is doing. But half the people were leaving. People were actually leaving because everybody said it was a waste of time. We thought y'all call us there to see how we can help us. Y'all call us there to talk and the juice. So that is why I got up at the end. And when John King said, the mic is open, and I went across and he said, well, I had to say it. But I had to say that I'm saying it as Chetwin Stuart, not as President of BAM, because I gave them links. Because it's, to me, disrespectful to bring all these people at this time. People can assume that you bring us out to tell us what we can do, how we can get money. TC got up and spoke to. A lot of artists were there. I was surprised more of them didn't say what they needed to say. But one did get up and mention the same thing that you mentioned just now, about help for the artists and respecting the artists. And that's the same thing, because these people are people who you don't just leave them out there. If you know that they can make major contributions to the society, to Barbados, to the foreign exchange company, you should take them and mold them. Other countries are doing that now. Other countries are realizing, look, these carnivals bring a lot of foreign exchange. So it's no longer Trinidad first, Barbados second. Barbados all the way down to third or fourth, because these countries are pumping millions into getting people into the island. They're foolish to see how much people is going to Trinidad, how much US dollars is going. We have waited late. We finally got a prime minister though, who I think understand promoting and stuff. So we're ready to see things change. But all in the past, they never appreciate, promoters never appreciate artists or what they're doing, because they think a lot of it too is lack of education. They weren't informed. They didn't know how much They should have known, but they don't know how much money coming in.
There's no interest, I believe, if I can speak very it's a very superficial conversation that happens when we talk about the creative, let's say the creative industries. And even understanding the role of, I mean, Coscap is seen generally as a nuisance, right? But if you really look to understand the role of copyright and collective management and how that feeds into music, how what you do feeds into developing the economy and really connecting the dots in terms of the creative industry or entertainment industry, that has been missing. So we have these little reactions and we have these little initiatives, but they're not connected. There's nothing systematic. To me, there's been no meaningful investment. And I'm actually not that optimistic as we move forward. As you pointed out with the carnival, we went from crop over being maybe number 2 to now, you know, it's all about Jamaica Carnival, now the Guyanese, the Lucians. And I'm like, but how do you think this will work? I've spoken for years about the situation with St. Lawrence Gap and not understanding the need to really have these focal points for entertainment. You spoke about the strip club. The only clubs that we really have in Barbados are strip clubs. I don't know if that's the model we want, but you're old enough and I'm old enough to remember the days when you could really party. And I'm saying, but what do we understand what that means for our tourism product? What are tourists coming here to do if we want to and we need to attract younger tourists? So I personally don't see the connections being made. And I do agree there's a complete lack of respect. And maybe it speaks to education, a lack of understanding and being educated about all this. But I think if some effort was made, the information is there, the questions can be asked, but I don't hear people asking the questions. I don't see them seeking this information. And they keep, you pointed to how much crop over generates. That study was done in 2007/2008. It was an okay study. There were key elements I thought was missing. I'm not an economist, but I thought there were key elements missing. But certainly 13 years down the line, you should have had other studies. Every year, we should know what has been the contribution of crop over in X year. We don't do, none of that research is done. We are quite happy to quote some figures from nearly 2 decades ago and think that that's still the situation. So I am somewhat pessimistic, to be honest.
Right. So what I always say is that we have to look to the future. The problem that I have is that if promoters aren't respected, and entertainers aren't respected, and people in the industry aren't respected, why would young people decide to pick up the baton and be in these industries? And that is the fear that I have. Young people know, and I talk to a lot of them, because a lot of them come to me for advice and stuff. But when they sit down and they do a budget and they say, well, Chetwin, this don't make sense. Risking this kind of money if I could lose this kind of money, you know, or people who don't have, you know, like bands, you know. I actually had a little like band by me son that they just some people who fool around. But you know, they don't have any place to go now and listen to a really nice little new band, and people don't really want to bring them out because they're not going to get any money. And even as artists, there's still people who want to come out and sing and perform, but it's not easy for them. They're not being encouraged. You know, they're not, the information isn't being disseminated that how they could do this or how they could do that. So exactly like what you're doing here today, the government should have platforms doing this, because if you realize that this is what we are sassy inside. So therefore, if we, and everybody can't be a Rihanna, but if one person could be a Rihanna, then the potential there is for another one and another one. So therefore, you need to put some money and time into this and see that there's a resource now that we can tap into. We don't have oil, but we have human beings who are talented. You know, we have a culture. We have things. I mean, my restaurant, everybody can hear about it in 3 months. Why? because I find out that I had a Bajan pirate, a real life Bajan pirate that toured with Blackbeard named John Steve, right? And he was with Blackbeard. He was born in Barbados. You know, he was a plantation owner's son. And he was raised a gentleman at 21. He married a girl, Mary, who was also a plantation, daughter of a plantation owner. And the marriage didn't work out. And the man decided he buying a boat. He was one of the few pirates who bought a boat, 170 pirates, and went to sea raiding ships. And then end up on Blackbeard boat with him. Called Blackbeard comes in. No, but I didn't know about that. Some people don't tell me they knew about that. But I can do a full thing bar on that. So there are things that can be done. There's a history. There are talented people that can do things, but they need to be encouraged and they need to be educated. And they also need, at the bottom line, to be able to make money from what they like doing. So that is exactly why we have to have more of these things.
And what about accessing financing, being able to attract sponsorship and investment in the activity?
Well, most promoters now have gone the road because they didn't really have a choice of getting what you call partners. Somebody who could afford to, risk some money, say, give you $10,000 and get back 13 or 15 or whatever. Because the whole sponsorship model is gone because most of the sponsorship that we would normally get, well, obviously from people who are mainly benefit, like drink sponsors and maybe clothes sponsors, but mainly drink sponsors. But all of them have a mandate now of basically, all right, you're my brand manager. You want to get Chetwin you want to give Chetwin $5,000 cash? Get a contract that Chetwin can buy $15,000 in drinks. That is how it works right now. All of them. You understand? You want $10,000? You gotta say enough that you're taking $30,000 in drinks. So the role of sponsorship is really changed. Although there is still within, and a lot of young promoters don't know that, there's still something called brand awareness and pushing the brand. The brand managers ain't come and tell them so. It's all about sales. But alcohol is acquired taste. So therefore you find when people at the age of 17 and 18 start to drink a certain alcohol, they stick with it. And that is why the people really sponsor for. But they will come and tell the young people, it's only about the numbers. But really and truly, I mean, water, Blue Waters gave me $15,000 a year for my band. And I appreciate it. But when I was in trade, I met with him. I said, well, look, you need to explain to me why you're giving me so much money, right? And he said, Chetwin, it's simple. Go in the supermarket and see how many waters that are on the shelf. When your people drink the water and they get it in the bottle and they get it free or whatever and they get accustomed to it. When they go in the supermarket and see all those bottles which you can reach for, it's a subliminal message. You can reach for the blue water bottles. It's the same thing with alcohol. If somebody start drinking a particular beer and they get a taste for that, that is the beer that they can drink. I like Moby, but I only drink sweet and dandy. I like sweet and dandy. The other Moby don't taste because that's when you start out drinking. So it's the same thing for wine, the same thing for whiskey, but a lot of young promoters don't know that. So they were telling promoters, I just come here and see how much you can sell, blah, blah, blah. But if you're a promoter who bring out, say, 1,000 young people on a weekend, I guarantee you that if you move right, you could get the right amount, you could get sponsorship for that because there's a value to that. There's a value to them to that, but they're not going to say so. So nowadays, you have to risk your own money or you have to get what you call an investor. Because sponsors and brand managers, even if they want to, they can't do it because they said right now, this is the way to go and that is the way that they're going.
So in terms of there's legislation, the Cultural Industries Development Act, which seeks to promote investment. Have you seen that having an effect? Has that encouraged investment?
Not really what it has encouraged. I mean, you have a number of promoters now looking to take advantage of, say, duty-free and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, the way we really make money from events, everything happens fairly fast, and at the end there's numbers, all about numbers, getting people to come out. Because only when you have the numbers, I have different projects that I do. Like there's one that I do where it's only like 200 people that come out to the event. It's more like a little VIP area, right? And I have men who will come in there, they will come in there $500 in the pocket. But if I let them come in there with $500 in the pocket alone, I don't have some girls or some other people in there who get these drinks when they buy them, right? Mm-hmm. They can spend the $500 because in reality, each person can only drink a certain amount of alcohol. So therefore, I have teams, I have friends, I have girls who come and work for me or whatever, and they could drink. So if they're in there, you might get to spend money. But if I don't have people in there, so there are different ways of bringing out people and different people that you market to who will come out and spend money. It's the same thing with food. I'm a partner in Island Soup. Island Soup is the most, I would say, I don't want to boast, but it's a very popular soup. People come from St. Lucie, they come from St. Peter, St. Philip. Island Soup was located outside one of the same strip clubs, Rehab, on the outside. Now, I've moved it down to Spring Garden because Rehab is closed. Because the new strip club that open kind of closed down Rehab. All the girls gone there. So I'm saying, but with that soup now, that soup now sells itself. So because it's so popular, people are, coming at the bite. It took a while. It seems to be promoted. If you have an event that you're now starting, because most young promoters, people listening to me know, will have not established events. You have to start it and you have to let it grow. If you're lucky that it starts so big, well then you move on. But in terms of getting sponsorship for it, it's going to be very hard because if it's not a proven event, the sponsors are not going to want to risk doing it. So really and truly, if you're starting events now, you have to look to either get an investor or do it on your own because, it's not proven. Even the proven events now, even, Reggae on the Hill, all these events, they will tell you the sponsors have cut back tremendously. So now you count the artists that have been accustomed to getting $40,000 US to come to the event. And there are artists that get that kind of money. They cannot afford.
Not Asian artists.
Not, well, that Rihanna will get millions, but anyhow, not the normal Asian artists. But what I'm saying though, again, you cannot then blame it because if an artist, I'm a promoter, if I bring an artist from overseas and they can get 10,000 people in a place, and if I use the local artist, I can only get one. If it makes sense, that's what's going to happen. And there's nothing wrong with that. Because if a Bajan artist establishes himself to that level, then he will go overseas. I remember the days of Square One and Crossfire in Trinidad. They were hot, and all the Trinis wanted them. Even the other day when Stabby was a hit, I was down there. I told her around with Stabby. So, you can't say foreign or local, you have to say artist, what it represent.
When you don't think Square One, Crossfire, Spice, Splash Band, they were able to really develop and build the following and so on because they had performance opportunities.
Yes.
I mean, to be honest, how many opportunities do the artists have now outside of whatever they may get scraped together at crop over to perform and to really develop the skills, develop the fan base, etc.
Yeah, but still, they still have to first, as you say, develop these skills because at the end of the day, don't say it don't make sense to try. It makes sense to try, but again, it's very hard for them. So therefore, you have to have people. Let me give you an example. Square One, for example. Square One had the skills. But if I wasn't in Trinidad and I get Mike to market them in Trinidad, I'd be the manager for these years ago I toured with them. It's because it was with Paul by firm to be taking them down there and might get them into 1 or 2 sets that they made it. But at least it was at the level where people could hear them. So first you have to get there, right? Before then people can hear you. And then it's all about opportunity at the end of it. When it comes to artists too, a lot of it is like that. If somebody didn't hear Rihanna, give Rihanna a little break, she would still be in Barbados. So I'm saying, but still, you have to have the talent. And we have a lot of talented people in Barbados, but they're not encouraged to try. They're not platforms there for them. Karaoke, yeah, but they're not platforms, whereby somebody serious people, we need more people to form bands because you can't be the light band as far as they're concerned.
Yeah, but the light bands don't have. That's what I'm saying, but when you form the band, where you can perform.
Precisely, you don't have goals, right? But I'm saying again, that is something too that needs you know, that needs to be looked at. I'm not saying that I have the answer, but for sure, if the government have workshops, suppose it was just one workshop for like bands. That's not difficult because I got all kind of workshops for all kind of, but they started one workshop for like bands. So what you do now is that you bring people who are interested in forming a band or being in a band together. Just from being in that room together, I guarantee you something will come out of that.
But you know, if Coscap had the resources, and we hope to reach back to a point when we do, I would love for us to be able to offer showcases, you know, at least, because we have so many members, and you know, it's kind of sad when you see them trying so hard, and some are quite talented. They just need the opportunity. So anybody out there who has the space, we would be happy to put on the showcases. But I just want, there's a comment here. Someone says, because the local artists, they have no content. They sing too much of the same nonsense. The local artists need to create appealing content that allows people to want to hear them. All they sing about is slackness for the most part. So that was just
but that is a very broad generalization, because they're mainly talking about the young people, but the young people are going to sing what they see on social media and what they listen to and that kind of stuff. But it's still the event they have me last Sunday was all old reggae, and that was a band. And that's a band that really in a band, just some people get together and play like R&B and friends and stuff like that. So it's not that there's no hope, but yes, if you generalize, yes, the young people want to sing what they hear and the rap and this and that, but there's still a lot of young people out there that musically inclined that will try different things. I have a daughter, she came back from Boston Music College early this year, right? And as soon as she came back, you know, this lady who has a music school, Music Angels, hire her to manage the school and teach the children, you know, the violin and instruments. I didn't know you had a musical daughter. Well, I have 4 children, so some of them are talented. But I'm saying, and they have classes sometimes over 20 young people learning the violin and the flute, and so there are young people out there who will be interested. The band I play at me Sunday had a young fella from college there with a saxophone. So what I just showed to you and what you just said is not difficult, because most of the time what people ask me for, I need a space. I need a space that we could come and play, nobody in quarrel instead of we keeping too much noise. That's the first thing they need. Then other things could come. You could have a sound company say, well, look, you know, I would put in some sound equipment there and it sounds good, but I need to put up my sign. People who come there, let them know that they could come and buy something from me, right? So that's how you have to think. You don't have to think like it can cost me too much money, so don't do it. Because the sound company come and say, well, you have a space, it's secure, now my equipment can lose. I can put up the sound equipment here, but anybody who asks, there's the number, tell them call me. They can come up by the studio. I can walk to go by the studio. The price on the guitar might be $500, but I might say, well, look, for you, I give you $450 or $400. That is how business works. But first, you have to have a location, because it's not a difficult thing to do. You know, if that was my forte, I would easily do that. And I'm sure eventually I'll probably make some money out of it by starting at this place. But for right now, we need things like that. And I'm glad you mentioned it, because I think people like you and companies like yours should be wanting to start looking out for these artists and stuff, because the government ain't doing it. And a lot of them cannot do it on their own. It'd be impossible to just pick up and do that. But I'm sure if you could bring talented people together, something will come out of it.
Okay. We have a question. The person is asking, to Chetwin in dollar terms, what amount of money do promoters contribute to the local economy? Do you have any idea on that, Chetwin?
I could just say a lot, because what people don't understand and what people always say is like, if I do an event and say it's $100, right? And 500 people turn up, you know? Pure cheese don't break. Boy, he make $50,000. He's promoters big revenue. But they do not know that that event will probably cost over $50,000 to pull off, right? And there are other ways that we make money. But what people don't understand is when we do event, it's not just about the artists and the lighting and the song that make money, right? It's also about simple people, the people who sell clothes, right? There's a big thing now. Because the girls buying shoes, they're buying hair, they're buying nails, they're buying all these kind of things to come out to the party, right? The food that is going to be generated sold. The person who's selling the food, the person who selling the drinks, right? The cups, all the different little things in the economy that the taxi man who got drop the people there and get them home. There's so many different things when the event transpires, when money has to be spent that people don't realize that it's so generated into the economy. I'm a social drinker. Very few people have as much alcohol as me because I got put on $25,000 in alcohol content. But I don't go home and take up bonded Johnny Walker Black and drink it. But when they go with my friends, we drink 3 or 4 bottles. So when you have this kind of social activities going on, it generates so much money in the economy. A lot of people who benefit from it though, one of the players don't realize, like K Shepherd. When you have great crop over, K Shepherd is benefits so much. You know, there are companies that benefit so much. So you gotta try to get these companies now to give back. A1 supermarket sponsored me 3 years ago. They realized, look, we benefit a lot from crop over. Let me sponsor you, bring back my band, they all kind of thing. So to put it in numbers, I would not be able to put it in. As you said, years ago, they said it was $110 million in like 2 months with crop over. But we know it's a lot more than that because a lot of other things have to be looked at. So it generates a lot of money. A proper study will have to be done on it because it generates a lot of money from people coming in from overseas. And then it generates a lot of money with people locally here spending money and doing things that they don't normally do. And it's not difficult to understand. Look at Christmas. Anybody would tell you that they understand that at Christmas, bitches buy a lot more things. The change curtains don't need to change. The painting at the houses, all kind of. Entertainment is the same thing. Without the entertainment, without Christmas, you won't have that volume of money being spent. Without entertainment, you will not have that volume of money being spent. I can't give you advice a lot.
So the person who asked the question, they had said basically, I'm paraphrasing, but if you can't give a specific dollar figure, how can you ask with similar back to hoteliers? Don't you need some kind of value to be able to put a real case for similar back to the hotel sector? But I would say, Chetwin, you made a point. The research has to be done, and it's not usually. I mean, the sector can do their own studies, but the fact is you have economic studies done by the central bank, by the Barbados Statistical Service, etc. So I don't think it's necessary for the promoters themselves to have to somehow try and do this research. I think if we are serious about having the creative industries as a viable and growing economic sector, that you can have government can have commissions a study to be done. You can have the university, just like Sally Sis at the university did the study, 13 or however many years ago. If we're serious, we could have this study done. But I don't think it should be questioned. The knock-on effect should be questioned for all the reasons you just put on the table.
Yeah, but not only that. Not mean to cross you, but not only that, these are not normal times. So all kind of things need to be done in these times. Let the Prime Minister here don't offering people to come and live here and work here for a year and all kind of things. So right now, if you know, you need promoters to put on events right now because you need to stimulate something right now. Why can't you say right now, all right, only for this period or for this thing, instead of paying 70.5, pay 7.5 and let me get some action started. So forget all the study talk and thing right now. Right now in normal times, right now you can see countries all over the world doing things that they need to do because they don't want people come out and start raiding a supermarket or start raiding a place because they just think that everything all right in general because they're not feeling it yet. But it's a serious undercurrent that is here right now, and it's going to get worse. Right? It's crime. I was just the same Sunday I had an event. A bar less than 300 feet away from me, 3 masked men went in it, robbed the bar, robbed the people, all the jewelry and things so too. Just down the road from me. Because they were on a level, flat level, I in the air with a step, I got a security man on the top. But any reason why they can come to me too. But I know not to just be open. And that can be a common occurrence all the time now. Because when people run out of money and they got children who are hungry, right, they can turn to crime. And it can be a lot more crime. And then the ones who just want this too and using it as an excuse, they can turn to it too. So we need to start doing some things. No, then we need to study. If you are saying, the government is saying right now, realize to set up a committee to meet with promoters, right? And to set up a committee to get the promoters to do events. So if you realize it's so important right now, the main issue when it comes to being able to do an event is that you need to be able to help them make some money. You have to work with the promoters now.
All right, there are a couple comments, and since we are to wrap up at 3:30, I wanted to put them to you. So the first is, what should first-time promoters expect from their first event? Should they go big or always start small and grow? And then I'll give you the other two after.
Right. All right, as a first-time promoter, again, it depends on what type of event you want to do. Because say you're a first-time promoter and you have a big following, you got 400 people who will go wherever you go, wherever you do. Well, then you can start with a big event. You might be popular, you might just decide to get into it. So it depends on what level you are. Because I always tell promoters, a lot of artists and DJs and they became promoters who came and talked to me. And basically, it was easy for them because they had a big following, because they could get people to come out there. So if you're an artist, say like Lil Rick, I did with Lil Rick birthday party years ago, you know? And both me and Lil Rick were having easy money because I knew people would come to Lil Rick birthday party. Just did a fly with Lil Rick, jump on a kid, doing a certified charge money. So it depends on what you're able to, the numbers you're able to put. But I always suggest to people to start small, especially if it's a brand that you want to build. If you're building a brand name event, if you don't have the big following, start small. If you're doing a one-off event, but then you did a little study and you have people backing you where you know you could get the numbers, but then you start big. So there's no fixed thing to it. It depends on your capability and what you can do. But it's always better when you're building a brand to start small, because you could then direct that brand where you kind of want it to go. Because starting big is not always good. It's just like this one that I started Sunday, I deliberately didn't do any ads. I could do ads. I deliberately didn't put it out there for everybody because I want a certain clientele. When they come, they will spend money. I don't just want people to be in the venue.
They have your name in all caps, so I guess they mean I'm not to respond. Chetwin, are promoters then prepared to put on events if government can offer sunset legislation to the entertainment sector that could run for the next year?
Yes, I can speak for myself. Yes, we are. We are willing to work as long as it's fair. You understand? So anybody, I mean, as I said, that example I brought to y'all, if I can bring $100,000, I don't want, my profit margin is 30. I don't want to be paying out $25,500 before I even pay anybody. Don't tell me about I can get it back in VAT. That is a lot of these people I can't give me a VAT receipt. So I'm saying, you know, we just want a fighting chance. And that is what has killed off. I mean, they came to me, big men come to me and crying, tell me, I can't even throw event now. Can't throw event. I talk people all down in St. Lucie and thing. They're turning up at the door, they're shutting down the place, whatever. So I'm saying, yes, you know, we'd be willing to throw events. I would be willing to get back into certain events. I used to love the days when we used to throw the little $15 and $20 events. That would make sense, but no one can throw a $15 and $20 event. No, that's where you don't have any. You know, everybody got to do big. You got to do it all inclusive to make money, or you got to go on a boat to do a cruise.
All right. The other two are mainly comments. So, well, no, there are three. There's a question. So the comment is hoteliers get lots of concessions and lots of them are not owned by Barbadians and the money leaves the island. Then the next comment is, at least with promoters, we know the monies stay and circulate in the island. And then the question is, do promoters budget?
Well, that's why I opened this whole session with saying that budgeting is the most important thing. So yeah, most promoters do, because most of the ones you will hear about are the ones that have made it this far, and you can't make it this far without budgeting, you know. But again, even within budgeting, there's still certain restraints, you know. I mean, it's all right to say, like I would tell all young promoters, you gotta do a proper budget, you gotta do this, and you gotta do that. But that still doesn't make you safe, because at the end of the day, it's an event, it's a social thing, and you know, you have to have numbers. I mean, the government wrote to me this whole thing about, you know, coming up with a project and putting it online, and we can give you $15,000 and blah, blah. But I'm a promoter. I know God gonna hire somebody to film this thing, and somebody to be technically inclined to do with this whole social media thing. But it's no event that I can do at my level that $15,000 can appeal to me. Because if I go there and I do an event and I rent a stage and I got a sound system, and the two of them alone, other things, they can't do $15,000. So I got to put out $70,000 to get $15,000 from you, but I can end up losing 50, because I'm not going to risk an event or a project like that. No, in these times, you know, because these are times that you really can't tell what's going to happen.
All right, there's one last question which is addressed to me, but actually I think you can answer it. The question is, how broad is the Promoters Association in Barbados? Is it open to include people outside of music promotion? So for example, sports, church events, etc. I have to pass that to Chetwin because I really know nothing about the association.
Okay, well, let me tell you my personal opinion on the association. The association was formed rather fast. It came out of a meeting we had with the minister, where band leaders, where promoters said that we need an association. For years we've been quarreling about that. So the minister decided we could set up an interim association now. And certain people that was in the room were elected, but they were supposed to have a proper general meeting and proper elections, which never happened. So the association you're hearing about now, as far as I'm concerned, this is my personal thing, needs to do what they said they would do, because a lot of promoters really don't even know what's going on. The other day we went to that same meeting, and the minister had them up there sitting down with him, so they really couldn't get up and say anything negative or whatever. So it was like, real promoters were very cruel, but what's the purpose? If they come there, what it do for us, what it do, whatever. So you see, that is where then you see you still have to blame ourselves. And a lot of times people quarrel about the promoters and about, say, band leaders. But I had to say this yesterday. It took about 20 years to get the band leaders to finally come together. The reason why it took so long is because they're band leaders. And as a band leader, you can't be a band leader without being a leader. As you tell my children, you're not a follower, so you can have strong opinions. So if somebody can't show me that I'm wrong, I can stay with my opinion. So it's people like that, it's always very hard to bring together. The same thing with the promoters. It's nearly be impossible to come and bring them together. All they want to do is argue and show the point. But it's possible to get it done. We did it with the band leaders, so we can do it with the promoters. But that's what needs to be done. We made the first step, set up this committee with the interim, but it didn't follow through. They didn't have the general election. They didn't have people to come out and say, well, yes, I want to be this, I want to be that. You know, I want to be a president, I have this to contribute. Or people to come out and say, well, look, you know, elect really in a promoter, I didn't even know what they're doing there. So that is the stage we are. We really don't have a functioning association for promoters, fully functioning one, I would say, and we need to have that done as soon as possible.
All right, so we have Hallam Hope from the Nation who has a couple of queries for media purposes. Hallam, I would suggest, since it's for media purposes, I will do a call after quickly with Chetwin to you so that you can ask those questions directly. Chetwin, the time is pretty much up. So there's one last question I think is important, but you're going to have to do it like a quick list.
Okay.
The question is, Chetwin, what are all the processes a promoter has to follow to host an event? Example, the police, etc. So I guess they want to know what's the checklist.
Okay, I can rush that quickly. All right, first of all, you have to get a liquor license for the venue. That is very important. You have to also go into Erica Coscap. You have to go into BRA, right? So they would know exactly what you're doing. Those are the major ones to move forward. Depending on the location, you may have to get fire permission. You also have to find out which health you have to go into your area. Like if it's in somebody go into Black Rock Polyclinic, you have to pay when they come out, the health inspectors. It's normally $247 for one. They can send two. Let them know you don't need two, that you only need one. They might tell you the fella coming from St. Lucie, so you gotta pay for his fare to get there. Tell them no, that is not a rule. There are a lot of things that people tell you, but you still need to know the ones that you have to follow. But the main ones will be, yes, for loud noise permit also, you get that also for the police. Because you can't do it with loud noise permit and the liquor license. You have to have those at the venue too when the police turn up. So you have to have a loud noise permit, liquor license, cost cap to show you have people, you've already gone into them, they will give you paperwork and file depending on the location. But those are the main ones.
Okay. They asked another question. Oh, and she asked me please to ask it. So this is it. This is the last one.
Okay.
And it's from one of my staff. Chetwin, what advice would you give to promoters who are interested in hosting an event but have some misconceptions about Coscap?
Well, as I said earlier, they need to call Coscap because they're not some. There are many promoters out there that tell me all the time, I ain't getting them a cent. They work for cent. I ain't getting them a cent. So because their misconception that Coscap, you just come look at the venue and charge your price. And Coscap tell them that they would do a rebate after. But all they need to do is call and say exactly what he said. Say what the event is about, how many people they expect, work with Coscap. Because if they're going to do it all the time, as Eric is saying, don't make sense telling lies. Because next time you come back to me, I ain't even letting you do anything. So it makes sense to come in and work. And as long as it makes sense, both will move forward. So I would say they need to call Coscap.
Thank you, Chetwin. Thank you to all of the attendees. We recorded the session. We will post it, Chetwin. I can't say how grateful I am. It was a really, really good session. You impressed me. So I may call on you again.
Okay, and one thing I would like to say, I cannot wait to hear about this area that you are supplying for young artists to come, and practice the trade.
All right, so just a quick word on that, because, we were hit hard by COVID because we made our money from activity. But Coscap has acquired a property, and we did it because we really wanted to focus on member development. We wanted space for that. So we have a new property, and it has the space to allow for that. We made sure we have the clearance, we're zoned as commercial and so on to allow for all of that. So COVID has set us back a bit, but that's something we're definitely planning for, right?
Now, what I would say then, if that happens, I will volunteer my restaurant free, that they can come there when they get a certain level and they can play to the audience.
All right, so we have it on record. Thank you. To the nation, we're going to call you just now. Thank you, everyone. Take care and join us soon for another webinar.